This is Commissioner Dave Yamamoto. Today is Tuesday, April 26, 2022, and we'll be calling this meeting to order at 8 o'clock sharp a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute your phones. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing star 6. It's very important for all others to remain unmuted. Thank you. So again, we want to welcome everyone to the Board of Commissioners Community Update this morning. Let's see who we have as far as commissioners go. Commissioner Scar, are you with us?
Good morning, I am here.
Good morning. And Commissioner Bell?
Good morning, I'm here as well.
Good morning. How's everyone this morning?
Just fine.
I was going to say, I'll just take that as everyone's doing well.
Good for a Tuesday.
There you go. There you go. So let's start right off with Adventist Health Tillamook, Eric Swanson. Eric, are you there?
I am. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
This morning we have 18 patients in the hospital plus one brand new baby. No COVID patients, no patients boarding in the emergency department. 4 surgery cases scheduled today, 3 are elective or non-urgent. Ambulance did 6 911 transports yesterday, no transfers or transports home. The number of hospitalized patients with COVID-19 across Oregon is 144, 13 more than yesterday. There are 15 COVID-19 patients in intensive care unit beds, which is 1 more than yesterday, and 3 of those are on ventilators. 2.2% of all emergency department visits across Oregon were for COVID-like illness. There are 43 available adult ICU beds out of 337 total in Region 1. That's 13% availability. And 96 available adult non-ICU beds out of 1,939 in the region, and that's 5% availability. On the 22nd, last Friday, Dr. Peter Graven from OHSU gave his COVID forecast. And as of the 22nd, 131 people were hospitalized with COVID. And despite low per capita rates, most regions are showing signs of a mild increase, a very slight, and that's in hospitalizations, a very slight increase in patients hospitalized in New England, and the Middle Atlantic is something that he's tracking. Pediatric census level for Oregon for confirmed positive COVID patients under 18 is 2. And as of the 19th, 3% of occupied ICU beds are filled with COVID patients. His forecast is showing a slight increase in hospitalized patients as the impacts of BA2 and are experienced. This increase appears to is beginning in the Northeast and is expected for Oregon as well. He's predicting a total hospitalization on June 8th of 314 patients. Just as a reminder, we are still required to wear masks in healthcare facilities, so if you're coming to the hospital or any of our medical offices, masks are required. We will be stopping the screening as you come into the hospital, either the emergency department, the main entrance, or at the plaza and our other medical offices in the next week or so. We just have to adjust our policy, and we'll be doing that. The last thing I want to tell you is something that I'm super excited about, and you all are kind of the first to know that as of Sunday, Heather Thompson, who has been our Administrative Director of Nursing for a long time and has worked here as a nurse for 22 years, actually started in this hospital as a candy striper when she was in high school, has been promoted to be our new patient care executive, or the other name for it is Chief Nursing Officer. So I'm so excited to have Heather as part of our executive team. Yesterday was her first day in that new role, and so there'll be a press release coming out shortly, but I thought I'd share that with all of you on the call this morning. So unless you have questions, that's all I've got for you.
That's wonderful news, Eric. I think that's terrific. I do. Any questions for Eric? Hearing none, let's move on to the Coastal Caucus. So I do know that we have at least 3 Coastal Caucus members with us this morning. I do see Senator Rachel Armitage. I see Representative David Gomberg. I see Representative Suzanne Weber. I don't know that I see Senator Dick Anderson. Senator Anderson, are you on with us this morning? Apparently not. So I'll just turn this over to the Coastal Caucus and let you go.
All right. Good morning. This is Senator Armitage. It is
Good
so
morning.
good to be back. I have not been here in a couple of weeks, so it's nice to be back here with all of you. I noted that the study on Highway 6 had begun a few weeks ago, which was really exciting because I got the chance to work with Representative Weber to pass that. And I also got a chance to drive on Highway 6 recently because last week I was in Tillamook for a working lands tour, which was an incredibly educational and informative experience. And thanks to Commissioner Yamamoto and Representative Weber for all of your hard work putting that together. We toured a fish hatchery, a couple of sawmills to see firsthand how lumber is produced. We learned a lot about that. Stimson Lumber gave us a tour of their land to show us how they manage forests, which was very helpful since we did pass legislation about that in Salem this year. And finally, I toured a dairy farm. I've never had the pleasure of being on a dairy farm before, so that was a real treat and also very educational. This tour was open to elected officials, senators, and state representatives across the state, and I believe that electeds really need to see how these laws and agency regulation impacts people in real life. So this tour was very helpful with understanding that. I'm excited to learn even more about these industries. And I got to say, I met some really good, hardworking folks, and I appreciate what you contribute to our community. It was a joy to meet you if you are listening. And finally, I wanted to announce that I will be in Tillamook again on May 20th through the 22nd. I will be hosting a coffee on Saturday, the morning of the 21st. And I want to make sure you all have the details. I'll be back to announce location and time. And I would love you all there.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate that so much. It was great to have you on our Tillamook Working Lands and Waters tour. We do find, and we're bringing a bunch of commissioners out in June, or June, and it's a fun time, but it's also very educational. It was terrific to see you there. It really was. Who would like to go next?
Well, I can. It's Suzanne. Am I muted or non-muted?
Nope, I hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to point out that I had a wonderful day last Tuesday, and Senator Armitage and myself had a really good opportunity to compare notes on the area. And I really want to, again, thank the Tillamook Working Lands and Waters Cooperative for all that they did. We had a presentation on the watershed that kicked it off because water was the main focus of our tour, to show how water is protected in our area. There were 30 to 40 people there, and the Tillamook Working Lands and Waters Cooperative put this all together, worked very hard to make sure that every aspect of the water was protected. There was even someone there whose specialty is water from DEQ that was able to talk to one of the issues that people find so, frightening to them, and that is the fact that we have to spray for weeds, especially in the forest. And so Stimson took us to a place up in the hills that had been planted. Well, first of all, it had been logged, and then it was cleared, and then it was planted. But they went through all of the steps that they take in order to protect the watersheds, including involving the DEQ to continually test the waters so that we know that the water that is going into Netarts, Oceanside, Tillamook is going to be safe and free of pesticides, especially. when it gets to us. The number of organizations that are involved in that is truly remarkable. How we work to keep people safe and how we work to keep our water sources safe, especially. I can't tell you how valuable that whole day was. And even seeing on the farm how they use the water, reuse the water, and, use it for cleaning the stalls, reuse it. It was a wonderful day, and I'm sure you agree, Commissioner Yamamoto. So with that, with thanks to that group, and especially to Senator Armitage for being here that day, and Representative Gomberg for also being involved, and then for all of those that were able to be there so that we could continually focus on the needs of our community and our area. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Weber. That was a great day, and let's not forget that Senator Anderson was also with us that day. But again, these are great, informative tours, and we love it so much. We really do.
And I apologize that I left Senator Anderson off of the list of locals who were really involved in, putting this forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Let's go to Representative David Gomberg.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Tillamook County. I too want to sing the praises of the tour we did last week. I'm sorry we couldn't be with all of you for the Tuesday morning phone call, but we were loading up on buses. And a couple of observations. First of all, it's all well and good that we coastal legislators were on a tour of coastal lands and water and farms and forests. But I think it was particularly significant that we had, I think, a total of 9 legislators on the tour. From Eastern Oregon, from Portland, from the Valley, as well as from the coast, along with a number of staff people representing other offices. We also often get caught up in this thing they call the urban-rural divide. And whenever I hear that, I think what they're really talking about is Eastern Oregon and the I-5 corridor, and they never talk about the coast. And it's important that we get those folks over here so that they can see what our lives are like and what our businesses and industries are like and what our environment is like over here. And for that reason, the tour was, I think, very, very effective. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that almost all of the stops were in my legislative district, Suzanne. And I hope you're smiling when I say that because we know that those lines are changing. And by this time next year, all of Tillamook County will be in one House district and one Senate district. But yeah, we had a wonderful tour. Toward the end, when we were visiting one of the dairies, and I met a new family had just moved in, and she said, the spouse there said to me, have you ever been on a dairy before? And I said, well, of course, I've represented this area for more than 10 years, and that we did a dairy tour just a couple of months ago, and visited the dairy right next door to you, which I thought was coincidental, but the tour was very effective. I also might mention, Commissioner Yamamoto, that when we did the dairy tour back in February, it was a warmer and drier day.
Yeah, so,
the other
amazing.
thing that I wanted to share with everybody, and I'm changing subjects here significantly, is I'm sure all of you are aware that there is an election looming and that voters' pamphlets are out and ballots will be mailed to us very, very soon. I wanted to mention, for the majority of listeners who are not registered as either Democrats or Republicans and who have an interest in the primary elections that are going on for governor, for Congress, for the state Senate, or for the state legislature, that today is the deadline should they like to change and join one of those parties for the purpose of voting in that party's primary election. Here in Oregon, to participate in the Democratic or Republican primary election, you need to be a member of that party. Some states mail out 2 ballots to everybody, excuse me, and you can choose which one you want to return. Here in Oregon, we do the next best thing, I think, and that is to make it very, very easy to change your party registration whenever you want to. And you can go to the Secretary of State's webpage, update your voter registration record, and change to either from non-affiliated to Democrat or Republican. And as soon as the election's over, you can change back to non-affiliated. This is just an opportunity for you to participate more broadly in the elections that are going on. If you're a non-affiliated voter, you're still going to have the opportunity to vote for county commission. You're going to have an opportunity to vote on local measures. You're going to have an opportunity also to vote for judicial races and for the statewide labor commissioner, which is a nonpartisan race. But if you're a non-affiliated voter, what we often refer to as independent, you will not have the opportunity to vote for governor, for Congress, or for the legislature, unless you take the opportunity to change your registration by 5 o'clock tonight. So I just wanted to get that out there for anybody who's listening, and I think at this point we'll pause and see if anyone has questions for members of the caucus.
Thank you so much for that report, Representative Gomberg. Do we have any questions for any of our legislators? I want to thank you all so much for being here. These are very informative calls. Let's move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Marlene Putman and/or Ed Colson.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Ed Colson with the Health Department here.
Good morning.
Good morning. So the Health Department would like to start by congratulating our Tillamook County Medical Reserve Corps volunteers who were recently recognized by the state for their service during the COVID-19 pandemic. Both Velda Handler and Kate Grimm, the co-leaders of the Emergency Volunteer Corps of Nehalem Bay, were co-awarded Outstanding MRC Volunteer Award. This award honors an MRC volunteer who made significant contributions to a disaster or public health emergency on behalf of their MRC. And in addition, as an MRC unit, the EVCNB was awarded the Innovator Award, which honors an MRC for developing and carrying a new activity or strategy to improve disaster and public health response. The support and innovation that the EVC and MRC provided was instrumental in the delivery of COVID-19 testing and vaccinations throughout Tillamook County. So we want to express our thanks to the MRC volunteers for their passion, dedication, and they serve Tillamook County. We would also like to announce that our mobile clinic is going to be participating in Tillamook's second annual Touch a Truck event next Tuesday, May 3rd from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So please stop on by Laurel Street in front of the courthouse to meet with our staff and see the mobile clinic as well as other public service trucks. And then finally, as a reminder, starting next week on May 2nd, our health center will offer extended hours Monday to Friday. So we'll be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So now is a great time to make an appointment for a health screening with a provider for any health concerns you may have delayed due to the pandemic. Our healthcare providers are accepting new patients, so please give us a call, 503-842-3900. Once again, as was brought out before with Eric's report, because we're healthcare offices, please bring a mask with you. To protect employees and visitors, everyone 5 years of age and older is required to wear a mask or face covering in this healthcare setting. And then children between 2 and 5 years of age are strongly encouraged to wear a mask or face covering. And now for our weekly COVID-19 update for our county. Our weekend case count from April 22nd through the 24th was 9. Our 7-day case count from April 17th to April 23rd was 22. 14-day case count from April 10th through April 23rd was 47. And our total cases for the month through the 24th is 63. Our total cases since March 2020 have been 3,712. Our total COVID-19 related deaths are 64. Our COVID-related hospitalizations we've had throughout the pandemic is 144. And our current active outbreaks per the Oregon Health Authority in Tillamook County is 0, but public health is monitoring 12 for a potential outbreak. For our vaccine update, as of the 18th of April, of those aged 18 years and older living in Tillamook County, 80.9% have started their COVID-19 vaccinations and have received at least one dose. 74.7% have completed their primary series, and then 44.8% have received an extra dose of the vaccine in addition to completing their primary series. So for news and updates regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, According to the OHSU forecast from the 22nd, COVID-19 cases have started increasing across the state, but remain much lower during the Omicron surge or Delta surge. BA2, a subvariant of Omicron, is now the dominant variant in the U.S., making up more than 70% of the country's COVID-19 cases. And as Eric brought out at the beginning of the update there regarding the peak hospitalizations that the state is forecasting, we just want to express that even with BA2 becoming the dominant variant and seeing a reduction in safety precautions, health experts do not expect another major COVID-19 surge to occur until possibly the fall. However, we will ask that there are simple steps we can still take to better protect ourselves and our family in the event of a COVID-19 surge or at times of high community spread or when someone gets sick with COVID-19. So we can stay up to date with our vaccinations and our boosters. We can keep high quality masks, COVID-19 tests, which are available from the government, or you can purchase at local area pharmacies, and thermometers in our homes so that they are available when we need them during times of community spread or if we get sick. If we do, and then we do test positive, there is access to treatment, but some medications may need to be started as early as 5 days from your test, so it's important to notify your healthcare provider as soon as possible. Our health center has those vaccinations, testing, and counseling regarding treatment and prevention of COVID-19. You can give us a call you can give us a call at our public health nurse line at 503-842-3940. You can visit our website, tillamookchc.org, or you can call 211. OHA also has a COVID-19 case support line, which you can call at 866-917-8881. You can use this line to report a positive test result, receive information on isolation guidelines, or support with isolations. You can also report your positive test result at oregon.gov/positive COVID test. A lot of this information and more is available on our website, tillamookchc.org. And with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Ed, for that report. Do we have any questions for Ed Colson? Thank you, Ed. Moving on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, Gail Nelson. Gail, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just two quick announcements this morning. We, of course, still have our supply of free N95 masks and at-home COVID rapid tests we are providing to anyone who needs them. Please give us a call. Even if you have transportation barriers, we will make sure that you receive those supplies. We can be reached at 800-368-5182, and that number is good if you have any questions about what you may be feeling, if you need additional support, we are here for you. And finally, again, announcement about the Nia County Student Health and Wellness Center. We're expanding from 2 days to 3 days a week. As you recall, we operate and staff the center with a primary care provider, medical assistants, and mental health counselors. We're currently open on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Starting this week, we'll also be open on Thursdays for counseling services. For more information on the Student Health and Wellness Center, you can visit neacountyhealth.org and knhealth.org. And that's my report for this morning.
Thank you so much, Gail. Appreciate that so much. Any questions for Gail Nelson? Thank you, Gail. Let's move on to the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Kenna Williams. Frank, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am, Commissioners. Thank you.
Good morning.
Frank Hanna Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. You can reach us at 503-842-8201. Want to make note of our QPR series that is Question, Persuade, and Refer. It is a evidence-based format in which persons can learn how they may be able to be supportive and helpful to someone who may have some feelings around, maybe feelings of self-harm. It's a suicide prevention intervention, and it is. We have provided that during the year, and we'll be providing it again during the month of May. If you have some questions about that and questions about any of our services and for appointments, you can reach us at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. That is my report for today, and I will take questions if anyone has any.
Thank you for being here, Frank. Do we have any questions for Frank Hannah-Williams? Thank you so much, Frank. Let's move on to the Sheriff's Office. Do we have Sheriff Brown with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioner. I am here.
Yes, good morning.
I don't have anything major to report. I do want to talk, just touch on the fact that about staffing at our office and kind of let the public know what's going on. We are 15 positions down, soon to be 16. That is 7 in the jail, 7 on patrol, and 1 in parole and probation. So it's across our whole entire office. The reason I bring this up is I want to ask the public to be understanding and be patient during this summer as calls come in. Our deputies will be forced to prioritize, and some of the lower level or non-emergent situations may actually be delayed in response time. That's not intentional. That's not because we don't care. That's simply because we are running so drastically short that we have to prioritize and deal with our emergent calls first. So just please be aware of that. And like I said, please be patient. Please be understanding. We are going to be doing the absolute best that we can with the staffing levels that we have, but we are hurting quite a bit. So on the other side of that is if you are aware of anybody that has any interest in law enforcement, we do have obviously multiple positions that are open. If you know anybody that maybe has retired from law enforcement, either early or, a family member that has retired early or even just normal retirement, but they may have interest in continuing. Tillamook County is set up to where if somebody retired, say, on a PERS system, you can still work full-time for the Sheriff's Office and have insurance covered and get a full paycheck and not interfere with your PERS retirement. We've actually been lucky and had quite a few OSP troopers that have come over after retirement. We've had a couple Forest Grove police officers come over after retirement. It is a really good setup. So if you do have any family members or anybody that lives nearby that did retire, that's another option that we have here. So that's all I have, and we'll take questions if there is any.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Appreciate that, and I understand your staffing issues. And we're coming up on a busy season, but we're wishing you the best, and I know you're going to handle things as best you can. Do we have any questions for Sheriff Brown? Thanks for being here, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Let's move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe. Randy, are you with us?
Hey, Commissioner, it's Mary Faith. Randy is in good morning. He's in an incident command systems training this morning, so he regrets that he can't join us. But Gordon very well may be online, and maybe he can explain this weather.
That'd be perfect. Gordon McCraw. Gordon, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, well, today we have low pressure that's off the coast north of Vancouver Island, and it has numerous showers rotating under the low into the Oregon coast. To combine that with an upper level trough of low pressure that's swinging in, and we get the scattered showers that are already moving in over the area today. And this afternoon you throw in a little daytime heating, and there's a slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm or two even, especially over the Coast Range eastward. Now, the models had showed a pretty good chance of the thunderstorms occurring yesterday. I should say the models yesterday showed them today, but they backed off on that with the latest models. So now we're just saying the Coast Range eastward. The shower threat does ease later tonight after another disturbance moves through. Then tomorrow is partly sunny, but with the westerly flow and all that moisture that we still have, we'd still see a 50-50 chance of daytime showers. Then Thursday, another trough means more showers, and that slowly diminish into Friday. Then the models start to get fickle for the weekend, especially on the timing of the systems. But it's safe to say that we continue to look wet. It looks like another front comes in Friday night into Saturday. Then we have the usual post-frontal scattered showers Saturday night into Sunday, with more showers expected on Monday. I guess I'll end it by saying just remember April showers bring May flowers, and the way things have been going here lately, there should be lots of flowers. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Gordon. Appreciate it so much. Okay, let's move on to the Board of County Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, let's start. Let's start with you.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to mention that on Saturday I had the pleasure of going to an open house celebration in Manzanita for the Pine Grove Community Center, which is a very active, wonderful center in North County, and it's been largely shuttered for the last couple of years because of COVID. So it was a grand reopening, community party, come back together, fundraiser. The Pine Grove recently got a grant of TLT funds to do some remodeling that needs to happen there, and so they were raising more funds for their projects. They had multiple projects, and it was just such a joyful gathering. It was so nice. It was so nice to see people that I hadn't seen for a while, and be in that atmosphere. There was some live music, and everybody was just so happy to be together again in person and feel like we're getting back to some kind of normal. And it was just a pleasure and a joy. And I hope that we have more of those kinds of gatherings to look forward to in the months ahead. And it really illustrated for me the kind of community that we've been missing, the kind of community gatherings where people are hugging each other and just so happy to be in the same room together again. So here's for, fingers crossed for more of those kinds of events in our community, all over our community, north, central, south, in the months ahead. And I just really look forward to being in the same room with people again. And I think that's all I have for today. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Bell. Appreciate that. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think I'm gonna read like a calendar this morning. There's a lot of things going on in the community that I think folks might be interested in, and so I'm just gonna let you know about some of those. At our board meeting this Wednesday, we will be holding a conversation around short-term rentals, and I know there are a lot of people who have a lot of feelings about this, and so Sarah Absher, the director of the Community Development Department, will be coming and making a presentation to the commissioners to let us know what our short-term rental numbers look like at this time, so that we can get a sense of how many we have, a bit about where they're distributed in the unincorporated county, and really just kind of ground ourselves again. Post-pandemic, because we know there have been some changes. So just a reminder that our Board of Commissioner meetings are available live streaming on TCTV if you'd like to watch that meeting. You're also able to go to our website, to the meetings and agendas page, and to find the Teams link if you'd like to call in and listen to that meeting. And of course, at this time, you are able to come into the courthouse if you would like to, and be present in the room, although we do have a limited space. So just be aware of that. If a huge group of you decides to come, we may not be able to accept everyone. So just kind of let people know that conversation will be in front of the commissioners this Wednesday. Other meetings that are happening, there are trails and facilities listening sessions that are being hosted by Visit Tillamook Coast at this time around the community. I was at NCRD last night. We had a nice group of folks that talked about their thoughts about trails and facilities, safety, accessibility, all those sorts of topics around trails. And we will be at the Rockaway Community Center at 6 p.m. on Wednesday this week to have a similar conversation with a new group of people. And next week on Monday the 2nd at 6 p.m. we will be at Tillamook Bay Community College. And on Tuesday the 3rd, we will be at the Kiwanda Community Center. So this is a great opportunity. If you have ideas or thoughts about the trail system and the facilities to support it and other just facilities related to tourism that you would like to get on the radar there, these are good conversations to come and be a part of. So just let everybody know those are happening. Okay, taking off my calendar items here. So the other one I want to bring up from a calendar perspective is tomorrow. Tomorrow is Denim Day. And we had Tides of Change come and talk to us at the commissioners meeting about a month ago. We did the proclamation for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I like to just remind people about what Denim Day is and why we have that. So Denim Day happens during Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It began in 1999 as part of an international protest of an Italian Supreme Court decision to overturn a rape conviction because the victim was wearing jeans. The Italian Supreme Court dismissed charges against a 45-year-old rape suspect because his 18-year-old victim was wearing jeans at the time of the attack. The judge's argument was that because the victim wore very, very tight jeans, she had to have helped him remove them, so it was no longer rape but consensual. This obviously sparked an outcry to even think that could be a reasonable argument. And so every year we have Denim Day just to be in solidarity and to remind people and to use it as a way to start the conversation, to really get people talking about the misconceptions that surround sexual assault. So Tides of Change on their Facebook page invites you to take a picture of yourself wearing your denim and to post your photo and to tag Tides of Change as part of that, to just really show in our community the support we have for survivors. So I don't want anybody to miss that opportunity. I'll be wearing my denim tomorrow for sure. Okay. One other thing I want to bring up, and that is, we hear constantly, shifting gears, about housing and the need for housing in our community. And I think there is often a sense that there's just nothing happening. And I really want to share a little bit to the contrary of that. So this week, a couple exciting things happened. There is a project that's being developed up in Bayside Gardens. It's called Bayside Commons, and it has, I believe, 24 units of affordable housing. And the application for that project was submitted by that developer to the state of Oregon this week, and Columbia Pacific CCO, which is the insurance company essentially and operator that takes care of Oregon Health Plan in our community, has contributed to that project. So I just want to let folks know there are things bubbling under the surface that you can't see yet, but they are getting started. Additionally, I actually had 3 different conversations this week with 3 different sets of developers that are interested in our community and just really. So do know that while it may feel like the housing crisis is not being addressed, please know there are many, many conversations happening. Developers are being courted. We are working very hard to add additional housing to our stock. So I will leave it at that. Thank you very much. I'll see you all in your denim tomorrow.
Thank you, Commissioner Sklar. I'm wearing denim today, so I'll have to maybe wear them again tomorrow. We'll see. Thank you for that report. So I do have a couple things I'd like to go over. I'd like to give everyone just a little more detail on Tillamook Working Lands and Waters and the tours we provide. Tillamook Working Lands and Waters Cooperative is just a grassroots organization. It includes timber interests and dairy interests and fisheries interests and local government, the Chamber of Commerce here in Tillamook. It's just a terrific organization. I am honored to have been on the original meeting, at the original meeting that put this all together, started this organization, and that was, 7 years ago, I believe. We got together and just tried to determine if we were going to continue to meet, what are we going to do? Well, at that point, we figured that education was the best thing we can do. Because we're such a welcoming part of the country, especially here on the coast, we have people retiring here from all parts of the United States, even worldwide. And people come here without a knowledge of current timber practices, current dairy practices, current commercial fisheries practices. So we wanted to make sure that especially the residents here that may not understand those industries get a working knowledge of how this works. And it's been a terrific success. Last Tuesday, and again, so our tour was last Tuesday, a week ago today. Think about the day before, a week ago Monday. Rainy. It was just coming down in sheets, and it was cold, and it was a miserable day. And we were thinking, oh my God, how can we do a tour in such bad weather? But to be very honest with you, the weather on Tuesday, a week ago today, was actually not bad at all. It spitted just a little bit of rain. It was much warmer than it was the day before. We were pleased and honored to have the House Committee on Energy and Natural Resources invited on this tour. We had 11 legislators from Salem on our tour. We had another, 5 staff members from other legislators that could not make the tour. It is weird, however, with that many legislators and staff members from legislators in Oregon, we had more staff participate in the tour, and that's a good thing. Again, we have staff from the timber industry and from the fisheries industries and from the dairy industries to answer all these questions that come up, and it was a great tour. I do want to talk a little bit about our first stop, which was the brand new state-of-the-art Trask River Fish Hatchery. This is just an amazing place. It was actually designed and kind of put on paper by Jim Scarr, the better half of Commissioner Aaron Scarr. Excuse me, Aaron. I'm just joking with you, you know. But he had a vision for what a hatchery should really look like. And he just started with a blank piece of paper and started making drawings and things. And before you know it, this is a years-long process. We have now a state-of-the-art fish hatchery in Tillamook County. Uses ultraviolet light to disinfect the water. It has chillers to make, because of the issues with climate change and warming rivers. We need to give these spawners a head start, so they have the ability to chill the water. Again, this is just an unbelievable facility. Matter of fact, I was last Thursday and Friday, I was in Coos Bank attending the ONC board meeting, Oregon and California Timberlands board meeting, and there were commissioners from 2 counties in particular, Klamath County and Josephine County, who are in dire need of new hatcheries. There were some fire issues, and so they were so excited to hear me talk about this new state-of-the-art fish hatchery that we built on the Trask River, and they were asking questions that I didn't have the answers to, although I spoke with Commissioner Scarr yesterday about how this was paid for. ODFW paid for a large portion of it, but there were other groups in Tillamook County that really participated and acknowledged the need for these types of hatcheries. It is unfortunate that, we hope this is not the last state-of-the-art fish hatchery that is built in Oregon. We have issues of returning fish. We have broodstock of wild anadromous fish that we use. There are those that think that, this needs to be just wild fish. We need to get rid of all hatcheries. To me, we need to look to the future. If we want our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren to be able to fish our rivers and streams and catch these magnificent runs of fish, the fish need help today. They do. And hatcheries are doing such a great job. So it's going to be a battle moving forward, whether this is maybe the last fish hatchery that is built in the state of Oregon, and I certainly hope not, but we need to have that conversation, and it's going to be a difficult conversation moving forward. I know of some commissioners from Southern Oregon right now that are raring to come to Tillamook County and tour the Trask River Fish Hatchery, and we're hoping to do that with them soon. From there, and again, it opened the eyes of a lot of our legislators. From there, we went to a Stimson Clearcut which was done over a drinking water area for Netarts and Oceanside. And again, this is just how these local companies work with all the landowners that are affected by their clear cuts. So they worked very, very closely with the Netarts Oceanside Water District, and they walked the ground together and figured out where they were going to leave more extensive riparian areas along streams and rivers. And it works out so well. As Representative Weber mentioned, DEQ was involved every step of the way, and they have done extensive testing right after the spray, and this was all done by hand, as a matter of fact. Much more expensive to hand spray, but they knew because of it was walkable, and because of the issues with drinking water, they went to the extra expense and did hand spraying. And DEQ found no herbicides in the waters. It was absolutely amazing. These are the partnerships that we have in Tillamook County that work so well. Our last stop was at the Kuipers Dairy. The Kuipers are fairly new residents of Tillamook County. They had dairy farms up in Washington, and it was their dream to come to Tillamook County and work with the Tillamook County Creamery Association. So the dairy right across the street from the Plane on a Stick, as I call it, on 101, across the street from the Port of Tillamook Bay. It's a terrific dairy. This was quite the trip. Again, we had representatives from DEQ and Oregon Dairy Farmers Association, Oregon Department of Agriculture. Such an educational trip. And to see the grandkids, that there were two grandkids in particular that just stand out in my mind. They must have been 3 and 4 years old. And they were just running around the dairy as we were taking a tour. It just goes to show how family-run businesses, such as the Kuipers Dairy, how they operate. And it was truly something amazing to see. And to see how they manage the water, and it's just incredible. We are hopefully going to do a public tour in July. Stay tuned for that. Again, next June, this coming June, I am bringing 50 to 60 commissioners from across the state to Tillamook County to go on a tour. Tillamook Working Lands and Waters, again, I am just so thankful we have them in Tillamook County, and they're doing such a great job. One other thing, I know I'm going long, and you'll excuse me, but I'm dealing with a lot of forestry issues right now. The Department of Forestry, of course, working on their HC, the habitat plan, an update to the forest management plan to match the HCP. The 1,850-page draft environmental impact statement for the HCP, the proposed HCP, just came out not too long ago. We're wading through that. I'm testifying before the Board of Forestry tomorrow. We have an FTLAC, Forest Trust Lands Advisory Committee meeting this Friday. And then 2 weeks from then, we have a joint meeting with the Board of Forestry. So the Board of the Forest Trust Lands Advisory Committee and the Board of Forestry are going to have a joint meeting to talk about the HCP that they're proposing. It's going to be a very interesting conversation moving forward. So with that, I'll just call it quits. I apologize for taking so long, but I want to thank everyone for being on the call today. Let's move on to the cities. City of Manzanita, Mike Scott. Mike, are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
It was good seeing you, Commissioner Bell, Saturday at the Pine Grove. That was a really fun event. I'm glad you could attend. As I've mentioned before, up here in Manzanita, we've put a 3-year freeze on issuing short-term rental license above our 17.5% cap in the R2 residential zone. And we're in the process right now of appointing a new short-term rental committee that's going to help the city dealing with the livability issues around the short-term rental issue. So we're right in the middle of that process. So more to come. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Appreciate you being here. City of Nehalem. Melissa Thompson Kiefer or anyone from Nehalem? How about the city of Wheeler? Doug Honeycutt or anyone else from the city of Wheeler? How about Rockaway Beach? Sue Wilson? City of Garibaldi, Tim Hall. Tim, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'd like to report that our Planning Commission has approved a new housing project at the south end of town. The developer will be building 18 one-bedroom apartments and also 7 sites for homes, stick-built housing. We're very pleased that this project will actually fit the needs and infrastructure for our city. We began our budget process yesterday, and the city looks like it's going to be on good financial footing. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. Appreciate you being here. City of Bay City, David McCall. David, are you with us? City of Tillamook, Nathan George. Nathan?
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. I do have a few things. The Public Works Department will be focusing on filling potholes this week throughout the city. It is very helpful for residents to call and report the potholes by calling our main number, 503-842-2472, which can also be found on our website, and then going to the Public Works Extension. Some potholes fall under Tillamook County or ODOT regulation or jurisdiction, and if so, the city will report those potholes accordingly. So just need to send to the city and we'll send to the proper place. Please be mindful of those working on the roads to fill potholes and use alternate traffic routes if possible. Another reminder on the Service Line Warranties America program to provide warranties to property owners for sewer, water, indoor plumbing for about $10 or less a month, whether for the water or sewer line and even indoor plumbing, or wall-to-wall indoor plumbing. You can receive unlimited service and repair calls. Anyone with questions is suggested or encouraged to contact the city or visit our website. We highly recommend you sign up for this warranty even if your lines are older or if they are not recently replaced or repaired. Also, small clarification, the service does not fix I&I infiltration system issues, which are rainwater coming in, unless they're tied to the system having issues. So the system has to have issues and they will come out and fix everything. This month, the Tillamook Police Department is teaming up with representatives from Tides of Change, the District Attorney's Victims Advocacy Program, other local law enforcement agencies, and other nonprofit organizations for people who are suffering from sexual assault and domestic violence. It's important that both the police department and the city of Tillamook demonstrate unity to show support for these victims. The Tillamook city staff from various departments participated in the sexual assault victims ribbon cutting on 2nd Street Plaza last week. In the spirit of Domestic Violence Month, the Tillamook Police Department continues to show that support for victims of sexual assault and domestic violence by wearing denim jeans as their uniform pants tomorrow. I believe as Commissioner Scarra gave us a history on it, which was fantastic, which is National Denim Day at the Police Department. Also, City Hall and the rest of the city staff will be participating in this Denim Day to show support as well. The city and Tillamook Police Department is pleased to announce we have identified 3 applicants in the last interview process for our police department, and they're in various stages of background processes. That will completely fill all of our authorized positions that have been unfilled. We want to thank all of you as a committee for encouraging people who by you and those who make a good officers to apply. It's a very competitive process, and we're very pleased. The next regular council meeting will be held on Monday, May 2nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. at City Hall. Should there be a work session, it will be held at 6 p.m. that same evening and location. The agenda will be posted at the end of the week and give the final agenda. We still have a vacancy on the Tillamook Urban Renewal Agency, known as TURA, and the city's Planning Commission. If you're interested in serving or know someone interested in serving, please have them call the City Planning Department or go to our city's website at tillamookor.gov. Finally, the public hearing for the Planning Commission for the city's floodplain ordinance updates will be held on May 5th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at City Hall. And again, these are FEMA regulations, Federal Emergency Management Agency regulations that the city has to incorporate into our code. We encourage everyone to attend and ask you to contact the city in advance with any specific questions or desire to learn more. That's all I have. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you for being here, Nathan. Appreciate that so much. Finally, last but not least, South County, Doug Olson. Doug, are you with us? I didn't think I saw Doug this morning. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being here, but a special thank you to KTIL for broadcasting. With that, we will adjourn this community update at 8:55 a.m. Thank you everyone for being here.